Hello, my name's Glenda Petrie and I'm here receiving treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's a cancer that affects your lymph glands. It's classified as a blood cancer and I'm on my 6th round of chemotherapy, and the treatment that I'm having is every 21 days. I come in for 5 to 6 days, and as you can see I'm attached to an IV pole here. The treatment's in the bags. I'm attached to the IV pole for 24 hours at a time. Each bag, I have 4 bags of the main treatment with flushes in between, and at the end of the 4 bags I have another treatment that lasts for about an hour that adds to the treatments, and I can only get changed and have showers once every 24 hours. When the bag's finished, then they come and disconnect me and I'm free to have a shower. And in the meantime, whatever you're wearing up top stays on you for 24 hours, and make sure that you're not too hot because you won't be able to take the clothes off. But if you underdress, it's a lot better. You can put things around your shoulders and keep a bit warmer that way. And the pole has a battery pack, so you can go walking around the ward. You're not allowed to leave the floor because evidently these are expensive little babies, and I call mine Ivy. And yes, the nurse once said to me that that'll be your best friend while you're here, and I thought she was pointing to the TV, but she meant this. So I'm writing a book, and I felt that having treatment, while you don't have much control over the treatment that you're having, it's a great idea to take an interest in self-care, and I do what I can for myself in that department. Everything from bathing and showering, and how to reduce the impact of the treatment as much as I can, having fresh juices, lots of water and heat, hydrating myself. There's a whole myriad of things that I feel happy to do for myself, and it helps give me some kind of focus and control about my side of doing self-care for what's best for me to balance out the treatment with some natural therapies. And I was learning so much. It was uncharted territory for me, and if I can help just one person through their journey, then I feel like it's a job well done, because sharing knowledge, and knowledge is power, and sharing that knowledge is hopefully will be helpful to other people. I've had to learn so many things, like how to self-inject myself with different drugs. Some people don't need the drugs, like blood thinners. I had blood clots in my arm. I have a PICC line that is attached to the treatment, and that PICC line needs dressing, and they take the bloods from there. And I was unfortunate enough to have blood clots develop, so the Clexane was to help minimise those clots. And also there's another drug called filgrastim or Zazio that they give you after your treatment, and that helps build up your white blood cells. So the treatment will wipe out a lot of levels of vitamins, minerals, and also your white blood cells. And to help replenish those, they give you injections, and if you can't do it yourself, you have to get someone else to do it for you. So, you know, there's a few tips on how to do your own self-injecting, and that's very handy. It saves you a lot of running around or having people, you know, relying on people to do it for you when you need it. And you might only have to have that for a week or 2 after the treatment until your blood levels come up to normal, that you have a bit more of an immune system. Also, the book helps give me focus on things that are going on. So it's actually a handbook and journal. I nearly finished it, this being round 6 and my final round. I've got lots of interesting notes. Even the nurses are quite fascinated and want copies. And it's called a handbook journal for Chemotherapy Troopers. And while my cancer is treated differently, all cancers are treated differently with different forms of treatment, you may not always have the same needs to look at, although there will be things that will overlap into any treatments. For me, especially being female, I always feel that if you look good, you feel good. So after my first round, my hair was falling out in copious amounts, and especially if you wear dark colours, it's a bit disconcerting. And I didn't want to shave my whole head. I wanted to feel like at least I had hair and look like I've got hair and look relatively normal. And fortunately, I had lots of nice hats and berets and things that I'd knitted and bought over the years. And I can reveal my hair underneath because I cut my hair initially after the first round. I shaved the back. I left quite a lot of hair here that has since come out. And from the crown forward, I left my hair there. And it has thinned out a lot, but it's still manageable, and I very rarely lose a lot of hair now. Most of it's come out, and that won't grow back until about 4 to 6 weeks after your final treatment. And so that, while it looks a bit scary without the hat on, at least when I look in the mirror or I'm with friends or family, I feel like I'm relatively normal and have hair, and at least my fringe and side bits add to that. Whereas most people would just shave their whole head off, and then of course when they wear a hat they don't have any hair or anything like that to look a little bit more normal than what you really look like underneath. I bring in lots of things to do. I like puzzles and crosswords, and I bring in my hand sewing if I have any. I bring in my computer so I can watch things on my devices. We also have a great system here in this hospital with a television and computer all in one, and that's really handy if you want to go on the net, and you can just go onto anything and use up all their their data rather than your own. And I like to read and just general things. I like to make lists of like bucket lists and things, and in my book I've included things like to write down things that make you happy and things that you want to achieve for yourself. Plan quite a bit for the future, because it's important to be able to keep moving forward and not sort of think of your treatment as being the end to everything or the beginning of anything. It's just a matter of adopting the right mindset to everything is important. And if you want to write some crazy poetry and you can't sleep because you've got steroids being pumped into you, then make your time useful. Don't just lie around expecting to be able to go to sleep, because a lot of the devices in here you have to turn right down at night and turn all the lights down and make sure the screens and even this pole, the lights that come off these IV poles with the screens, turn that away from you and get the rest in between when you need it. Mindset is really important. It took me a long time to embrace the idea alone that I was going to have chemotherapy. I wasn't for it, and with some education and getting past my preconceived ideas that I had about chemo, I actually came to the conclusion that for my type of cancer, for a non-Hodgkin's, chemotherapy is one of the most beneficial treatments for this particular cancer. I can't say that for all cancers, just that they get between 60 and 80% cure rate, not just remission, cure rate for this type of cancer and lymphoma. And so instead of seeing it as a cytotoxic chemical or toxins that is poisoning your body, it's a really good idea to get all that out of your head to start with and see it as a modern day treatment, and it's potentially life-saving. And the treatment is what it is, and hence the book in things that you can do to work around that to minimise the effects. I've been really fortunate with, from the time I found out I had a lump, I cut out alcohol, sugar to speak of, dairy, eggs. I eat seafood, and that way my system's not being clogged up, because you get a lot of problems with your digestive system with the treatment. And so I don't get constipated, I don't have that metallic taste in my mouth, I don't have nausea, and my system is moving it through readily. It's not even about having a positive attitude, it's about not having a negative one and finding that happy medium. And it's not going to be rainbows and chocolates and happy days. It's tough, it's really grueling, and the aftermath of it, particularly the week after, is when you really take a dive. And you've got to really be conscious of that. If you're feeling emotional, then that's okay, you know, to feel depressed and feel emotional. I aim to just not get stuck in it if I'm having problems getting stuck in it. The best thing for me is just to get out of the house, just put on some makeup, some nice clothes, and just go out, be at one with nature. You can go amongst people, you can go to a library, you could walk the beach if you have that access, or a park, or anywhere to change your mindset, because it's about not getting stuck in that and just being able to move forward until you feel that it's okay, that you're not going to feel too depressed or upset or any of those sort of negative emotions. While it's fine to have a good cry and feel it and be real with it, and if you're short with people, well, they just have to wear it, and I do the best that I can to allow myself that freedom to express myself how I feel at the time.